Welcome back to my series of detailing my favorite movies. Today we will be going from 80 to 71. Let's get started. Number 80, Duck Soup. This is a more recent addition, but I absolutely love this movie. It's a perfectly timeless comedy which keeps building upon itself, and it just gets funnier and funnier. While Groucho was pretty much the poster child of these movies and still pretty relevant in the world today, his siblings were just as funny as he was. Harpo and Chico are damn hilarious, despite the fact that they don't really get mentioned that much by comparison. The story is pretty much just a vehicle for the overall absurdity and jokes of the film. It starts off kinda slow, but by the end, I was absolutely howling with laughter. All three brothers were hilarious in their own ways, with Zeppo for the most part being the straight man whenever he does come in to do a scene. It is hilarious from start to finish and manages to do everything right with what it's trying to do, and absolutely flawlessly at that. Plus, it's short, so it's fairly easy to watch. Number 79, Blue Ruin. Add this to the long list of great crime thrillers I have as my favorites. While it is a small indie flick and has a rather simple plot, this film is still a great revenge thriller. Macon Blair is absolutely fucking excellent in the lead role, and it is such a magnificent performance. He definitely makes this movie a lot better than it should have been, even if the rest of the movie is also extremely great. As I did state that the film is a simple revenge thriller, something about it just wowed me. I was just so seriously entranced by the whole experience. Something about it I can't put my finger on made me absolutely adore this film. Just watch it and you might understand what I'm talking about. I definitely think it's Jeremy Saulnier's best film, despite Green Room getting more mainstream attention.
That's how this works, man. The one with the gun gets to tell the truth.
Number 78, My Bloody Valentine. One of the many holiday slashers that came out in the wake of Halloween's success, this proved to be one of the better ones. The characters are very genuine, memorable, and likable. Their subplots are actually quite interesting, and the love triangle isn't as vomit-inducing as you think it is. It feels real and not like something out of the CW. Plus, the third act alone, that takes place almost entirely in the mine, is such an enthralling and creepy set piece. The perfect place for a horror movie, and it is showcased so very well. A miner being a serial killer, that's just fucking awesome right there from a design standpoint. Whether it is the theatrical cut or the extended cut, this is definitely one of the best slashers out there, and I make it a yearly tradition to watch every Valentine's Day.
My Bloody Valentine.
Number 77, Psycho, Alfred Hitchcock's classic. One of his greatest films and my personal favorite. While movies like Rebecca, North by Northwest, Rear Window, and possibly even Vertigo are much better and considered better, with many saying the latter is his best, although I have yet to see it, Psycho I just can't help but love. So cheap and with so little, it showed that with almost nothing, that Hitchcock is still the master of suspense. Not really much else I can say because goddamn, what hasn't been said about this classic. Number 76, It's Alive. This is a movie that should not fucking work. This sounds like something that would come out of the 50s that should be double billed with Tarantula or Earth versus the Flying Saucers, yet here we are. Somehow a movie about a goddamn killer baby manages to be one of the most intriguing, brilliant, and emotionally captivating films I have ever seen. One of its greatest attributes is that it doesn't really focus on the baby that much, as well as being very mysterious. We don't know why this baby is monstrously deformed, and we don't really see it killing people that much. It honestly focuses on more of what the family is going through, mainly through the patriarch, Frank. Because it's mainly through his eyes that you're feeling what he's feeling and how he registers the situation, and how he and his family are being dragged through the mud. You feel this contempt and hatred he has for this thing that he cannot even call a human being, let alone his own child. It is completely and utterly drenched in 1970s atmosphere, pacing, and tone, and I absolutely love it to pieces. I mean, The scene with Frank in the sewer is so fucking well acted and is so emotionally charged that scene is worth the price alone, as well as the great opening scene of the preparation of the baby's birth, the build-up and the payoff. So fucking well done. What can I say, but somehow it is 1970s horror at some of its finest. Number 75, Dr. Strangelove, or How I Learned to Stop Worrying and Love the Bomb. Another classic. This film just manages to get so much right in terms of its acting, story, comedy, and themes. Just on the basic idea of a comedy, I was laughing out loud for a lot of it. The satire is brilliant. Peter Sellers in all of his roles was superb, and just everything about this movie is so goddamn great. I mean, everyone and their brother has said how every facet of this movie is amazing. I honestly don't know what else I could possibly add, just that it's exceptional, and you gotta watch it for yourself. Number 74, The Ninth Configuration. One of the two films William Peter Blatty directed, this is what I imagine to be the real sequel to The Exorcist, and not, that other crap. The reason I say this is because that was Blatty's intention, as this trilogy, now with Ninth Configuration in the second slot, is about good and evil. The Exorcist is about the examination of pure good and pure evil. The Ninth Configuration is about what makes a man good and redemption, and Exorcist 3 is about humanity's strange pursuance of pure evil and becoming that. Because of that, the film feels more like a complete story, especially with Blatty taking the reins of his sequels after being a bit upset with what Friedkin did to his story with the first film, although they did later make amends. But outside of the themes and subtext, the movie on the surface is excellent as well. Just for Scott Wilson's performance and the third act alone makes this worth watching. But even outside of that, it melds its many genres perfectly, with notes of comedy, drama, horror, and thriller, with how it deals with the idea of insanity, what it means for the characters of Kane and Cutshaw, and the various discussions they have are all very good and extremely interesting. Despite not directing much, this film more than proves that Blatty was just as much an exceptional director as he was a writer. Number 73, Suspiria. This is a film that is all about atmosphere. While the other aspects are very good, like the acting, plot, cinematography, and themes, this movie very much tries to focus on the surrealism and atmosphere to try and scare you. The point of this movie is that it's very much supposed to be not only drenched in atmosphere, but almost a dark fairy tale, or more specifically, a nightmare. Hence why there is very little logic to the overall story, and at some points feels very choppy. That was very much intentional. As well as the main character feeling out of place in a foreign country being a major theme, because that adds to the nightmarish atmosphere. Not fitting in or not belonging, but widening that to almost a countrywide scale is frightening. It's not a typical cut and dry movie, and once you shed that, you should be in for a much better experience. It's truly a movie that is about the experience of it and the interpretation of such events, rather than spelling it out for you throughout the entire film. It is Dario Argento's magnum opus for a reason. Number 72, Psycho 2. Yep, Psycho 2. Now, I know what everyone is thinking, but yes, this is one of my favorite movies. It's exceptional and almost as good as the first movie in terms of quality, even though I do prefer it personally. Obviously. This movie was an absolute fantastic examination of Norman as a character, and Anthony Perkins does it absolutely flawlessly. He tries so hard to get rid of the idea of mother, and to be normal, but something keeps pulling him back in. Extremely well done examination and analysis of Norman Bates, but continues the story in all the right ways, with only small homages and clever callbacks to the first. It's a great double feature, with the first and very exemplary. While it does have some great horror aspects, it's honestly more of a psychological drama than anything, and it is brilliant. Richard Franklin's direction is fantastic, Meg Tilly and the returning Vera Miles are also great, and it just manages to do everything right when it should have been a shitty cash grab sequel. Speaking of shitty cash grab sequels, you can probably skip Psycho 3 and 4. They aren't worth it unless you're that big of a fan, although I do recommend the TV show very much.
Psycho 2.
It's starting again.
Number 71, The General. A brilliant adventure from beginning to end. One of the greatest films to ever come out of the silent era from the amazingly talented Buster Keaton. I remember watching this when it was on Netflix years ago. I wanted to watch more classic films and I thought this would have been a good film to watch. And what a fantastic film it was. This movie is definitely the tried and true meaning of the word adventure. I was absolutely enthralled from beginning to end. The comedy was hilarious and Buster Keaton's stunts are still impressive to this day. While it unfortunately follows a Confederate soldier being the hero, since the rest of the movie is so fantastic, I'll let it slide. And it's really a nitpick in the grand scheme of things. But if you want to watch an absolutely enthralling and fun adventure, then I definitely recommend this silent classic. So, that's it for today. See you all next month with the next one.